Things have been rather slow, and while we are stuck in the limbo between now and Pony Life, let's talk about something that's even farther away than that. Generation 5, the show that ever remains a huge mystery that nobody knows anything about yet somehow exists, so I can't stop thinking about it. Nobody knows what the world is going to be like for sure, same for the characters, the setting, and the animation. We can never guarantee that things will be just the same as Gen 4, cause if it did, then what would be the point? We don't need the same animators, artists, actors, or composers to have something live up to the previous generation. In my opinion, it just needs to be different and varied in order for it to stand out to me and be worth watching. So how do we avoid creating another samey show? Well, I think it starts with the music. In this video I'll ramble and go on tangents about what I want from Gen 5 music-wise, because if I talk about more than one aspect of this mystery show, there will be no cohesion and it will become incomprehensible. Even more incomprehensible than I already am. Also, this gives me room for video ideas in the future. So, why do I think music is the most important hook of Gen 5? It's very simple. Because it wasn't a hook in Gen 4. The music in the earliest episodes of the show were, quite honestly, turning me away and making me cringe in my chair the first time I watched it. No, I'm not talking about Winter Wrap-Up, I'm talking about the multitude of miniature Pinkie Pie songs prevalent all over Season 1. Evil Enchantress, Hop, Skip, and a Jump, that one song about laughing the ghosts away, that baking song, etc. They remind me of songs that my mom grabbed my arms and tried to make me dance to when I was 6. It just feels miserable. Of course, there are people who like it and thinks it's cute and thinks it adds to her character, and that's okay. But for me, it was an anticipation of, oh man, this is what I'm going to hear for the rest of the show, isn't it? Whether or not you like it, it doesn't hold up to the standards of songs they use commonly in the show now. Of course, this was back when Hasbro was not expecting the wide range of an audience it eventually got, so you can excuse it as a little jingle for kids. Beyond that, they made songs with a much higher quality that include rock elements, even some EDM, some emotional heart-wrenching songs, and even orchestral songs. This Day aria was downright beautiful and Broadway-like quality, dare I say. They've made memorable duets and villain songs and much more. What I'm trying to say is for Gen 5, set the bar high musically. Have a song in the first episode. I don't really care what genre or what song is going to be about, but a first episode is meant to set up expectations for the rest of the series. If your series is going to have songs, have one in the first episode. Bonus points if you get ambitious with it and the song doesn't sound like a usual Gen 4 tune. Go nuts with it. Make it a villain song at the very beginning. How about a rock song? Or maybe have all the main characters sing together while establishing their character traits and using different instruments for each. See, that's the thing. The magic of MLP is that you can do anything you want with it. It can be set in a typical fantasy, or maybe even a sci-fi one. And with that change, the change that will have it stand out from Gen 4, whatever it is, the musical formula will change with it. I don't want to be disappointed and go, oh man, this sounds like it came from Friendship is Magic. It needs to have its own identity. And I think the best way to do that is to have motifs for each character. Now, we aren't going to speculate who the new main cast is going to be like. Maybe another time, but let's spitball some character traits for them, like a really passionate writer with rap beats, a brash or loud character with rock instruments, a charismatic type with pop music, an energetic type with jazz or swing tunes, etc. They all need to be unique and yet cohesive with each other, so that you assign these motives later on in the songs or even the score when they're on screen. And it will make you feel this type of energy whenever you see them. It gets you excited. You hear the first chord and you'd be like, oh, it's a song from this character. That means we get another rap song. Awesome. And it allows you to enjoy the song even further and help you identify and relate to them when you include your own music tastes and apply it to them. Another good thing that happens with motifs like that is that now you can include and combine them when multiple characters sing. One of my favorite duets is the Bat song, because it sets a clear conflict for two characters, and with that one half of the song is menacing, and the other is gleeful. With this idea, you can pit the rock motif and the jazz motif, for example, and switch between them after their verses, On top of that, when they sing together, say during the end of the song, you could combine both motifs at the same time and it would fit in seamlessly, because it was using two distinctive and familiar motifs. With motifs, you can also change them during character growth. Let's say the writer/rap character is bitter and frustrated on the inside, and you portray his struggles with the lyrics and the beats of his rap song. It uses like a low bass and sounds dark and methodical. The character has a delivery like he is venting through his feelings to the song he wrote. Much later on in the show, when he is happier and more self-reflecting, the song becomes lighter and inspirational, and the chorus has him actually singing in a way he wasn't before. Motifs can change and evolve, and you can use hints of these moments throughout the score, like having a soft instrumental of a previous song and make you feel, oh, I recognize this. This was that one song he sang when he was bitter, so that must be what he's feeling now. Side note, I'm not an expert on music theory, and I don't even know how to make a song. I imagine it's a very hard process, and bringing all these things together beautifully won't always succeed, but whether it's the soundtrack, the animation, or the setting, one of these things need to stand out to me as being different than the previous generation. To me, that changes music. Ultimately, your goal is to attract new viewers while bringing back the old ones as well. Personally, I would prefer it if all aspects of the show were almost entirely different. I want to love a show for all the new things it tries to do, like an alternate universe or a sequel, taking what's already established and refine or improve upon them. What the show has done previously in regards to music is matching the environments they are in or the emotional beats of the story. I'm not saying to take those away, but to try to make every moment of the show feel distinct and unique with each other. Thinking back, I do kind of remember the solo character songs usually having matching instruments to their personality. One of my favorite songs in the whole show was I'll Fly by Rainbow Dash, when she's trying to keep Tank for winter. It uses a lot of rock instruments and it sounded really great and replayable to me. Because of that, it made me enjoy the episode as a whole even more because it expressed what Rainbow Dash was feeling while she was in that bargaining stage of grief, and it played over an animation montage of Dash desperately trying and failing to keep Tank from hibernating. That episode alone made people appreciate and warm up to Dash as she was in a rough spot in her life, even if you haven't related to her before. This is the episode that really does it. All because of that one song. I remember the entire episode from beginning to end, since it played during a crucial moment in Dash's development. I can recall the events that led up to that moment, and then the conclusion as well. This is how MLP breathed life into the show for me, thanks to a genius named Daniel Ingram, which we all know and love. Now, here's the two biggest questions. Would Daniel Ingram be coming back to MLP? And if so, would that be good for the newest generation of MLP? Before you get your pitchforks out, or rather I'd say a tiny fork considering my channel size, I am not saying that Ingram is by any means a bad composer, far from it. He's an inspiration to me to help me appreciate what goes into making music, and help spark my love for musical theater. That being said, the idea we are going with for Gen 5 is that it has to be different. That includes composers and directors and voice actors and so on. I feel like for this ambitious idea of mine to work, there needs to be some sort of collaboration to happen. One composer is not a master of all genres, maybe they are, but composers are specialized in certain areas. I could be proven otherwise if he manages to wow me with his diverse Gen 5 soundtrack. The question of how would Ingram affect the next gen's music is honestly a complicated one, and I am not sure which I would want more. Either he comes back doing the same kind of songs but better after 10 more years under his belt, he doesn't come back and a different composer is in charge, which would help make things different but be concerned about quality, of course. Or it could be a huge collaborative effort between many artists, Ingram or not, and then music risks clashing with each other and not remaining cohesive. There's a lot of risks involved, but I would be more disappointed if they didn't take any risks whatsoever. It's one thing to have good music, it's another to oversaturate with samey bland songs with the general message being relatively unchanged. It's important that when they do choose to add a new song, it needs to have purpose. Driving character plot points, breaking the monotony, creating a genuine emotional moment, changing the pace, providing exposition, etc. The lyrics also need to reflect that as well. The music shouldn't just depend on the environment, it should depend on an important moment in the show and cranking it up to 11. Nobody should be like, oh, I guess there's a song here, when there really was nothing happening warranting one. An example of what not to do is in Spice Up Your Life. It literally came out of nowhere. And man, do I love duets, but this one just felt like an excuse to use new instruments, thanks to the theme, and the lyrics were just bland to me. Not to say that surprises aren't welcome, but it just felt like it had no business being there. If a song could easily be replaced with a normal scene doing the same jobs for things like comedy, drama, and exposition, then it doesn't need to be there. The song from Sounds of Silence was there to serve an expository purpose, yet it fit beautifully. Why? Well, because the song itself made sense due to Autumn Blaze's spontaneous personality and the need to express herself, especially through songs that she loves musical theater, as she mentioned. It was funny, emotional, and told a meaningful moral, all while providing the village's backstory. This was probably the most well-timed song in the entire series. Yes, like that, want that, more of that, please. Anyway, I think I got the point across, so let me summarize. Music is an incredible driving force for MLP. It inspired so many talented bronies to start making their own music in the fandom. However, because music is a huge backbone to the series, it needs a huge extra kick in quality. It doesn't have to include all the hopes and wishes I described in this video, but it should find a way to make music itself unique to me. I may be setting myself up for disappointment with my standards, but just like with Pony Life, I am eager and optimistic for what Gen 5 has in store. Thank you for listening. And yes, I promise this is a reaction channel. I just have these ideas and I want to get it out to you. A lot of things just haven't caught my interest lately in terms of reaction videos, so I'm really excited to get back into the fandom and hope you all will join me. A question for you guys, should I make a Discord channel? I appear to be growing somewhat, so I feel like that's a good sign. Let me know in the comments, and also let me know what to react to. Please don't be afraid. I love hearing what you have to say or suggest. Okay. Until next time, goodbye.